Today I have a book talk on The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in Rick Riordan's Heroes of Olympus series. The Heroes of Olympus are an almost immediate continuation of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. Now, because they're almost an immediate continuation, I would definitely recommend reading the Percy Jackson and the Olympians books first. I have book talks on nearly all of them, and on my review of the first book, The Lightning Thief, I also have a review of it on my blog, I should think. I do a nice non-spoiler section where I explain the plot and everything, and the review on my blog is completely non-spoiler. So that's fun. If you haven't read it, leave now, go read them all, watch all my other book talks before this one, and then come back and we can discuss together. So, for those of you who have read the book, let's get started on spoilery stuff. So Percy Jackson is back, as it says on the cover. And oh my god, I forgot how much I loved him. He's like my best friend. I really want him to be my best friend. And he was definitely my favourite perspective. I forgot how funny he was. He's hilarious. And he remembered Annabeth. That was just the sweetest thing, because I'm a die-hard Percy Beth shipper. None of that per Rachel or Percy and Raina. I love that they don't even have a ship name because no one wants them together. And we have two new perspectives, Frank and Hazel. Frank, pretty average. He gets worse, to be honest, in the next book. He was never going to be Apollo's son. Yeah, I guessed he was going to be Mars's kid when his gran was talking to him and saying that his mum went to, I think it was Afghanistan, and thinking that his dad might be there. I was like, war, dad, maybe his dad is the war god. So yeah, I loved it when Mars showed up at Camp Jupiter. That was hilarious. And Percy just doesn't kneel and he's like, I think I remember you. I don't like you. And then he gives them like the handwritten prophecy for their quest. Come back on something or die. Hazel is pretty okay. I wouldn't say I loved her, but I definitely didn't dislike her. I'd say she was good. I think the problem with this is I'm comparing all of these people to Percy, and they are all like this important compared to Percy, because Percy's like infinite. I bet you can't even see how far my hands are going. Not that far, because I don't have freakishly long arms. Octavian, now there's an interesting character. I know I'm supposed to hate him. Everyone hates him. He's supposed to be like a villain. I really don't know what to think of him, because he sort of reminds me a tiny bit of myself. Is that weird? He's really twisted, and if you asked my friend to describe me, twisted would probably be one of the words she used. Maybe, oh yeah, he does remind me a bit of myself, and is that bad? Because everyone hates him. Nico, oh my god, I love Nico. I was so excited when he came back. I was like, please tell Percy you know him. Like, I know he's supposed to make his own way at Camp Jupiter. How do you know that, Nico? Have you been making plans with Hera? Because if you've been making plans with Hera, no. Yeah, but I love Nico. I love how he's like considered sort of a leader. He was wearing a toga, so he's important at Camp Jupiter, and he also knows about Camp Halford, where he's like the sort of one that comes around and like helps save the day every so often, and he's just like sort of a wanderer. I guess you could compare him to the Doctor, which is always a nice comparison, but less interfering with time and space, maybe. But he does have a cool way of travelling. Shadow travel. Oh, Frank and Hazel. No, don't ship it. Sorry, I already... Right. Someone was asking, I think it was Christine from Poland Bananas 20, who her favourite ships were, and she's going on like the obvious ones, you know, Perciveth. And then she said Hazleo. And I was trying to figure out for ages who Hazleo was, and then it finally hit me that it was Hazel and Leo from Heroes of Olympus when I started reading this book, and there was someone called Hazel. I was like, oh my god, it's Hazleo. And so yeah, I was already shipping that. I was like so excited that I'd finally figured out this mystery ship. And yeah, I shipped Leo and Hazel, and I shipped it before they'd even met. Oh, and that voice message from him was so confusing. He's like, yeah, what's my command on the ship? And Piper's like, repair boy. So he looks like Sammy, and that's interesting because at the time when I was reading it, I think I was still on series 1 of the Vampire Diaries. I just finished series 2, oh my god. And so, of course, because of the whole Elena Catherine thing, I was like, oh my god, this is so weird. Like, why do they look exactly alike? Oh my god, is he gonna use Leo's blood to destroy the curse? So yeah, I'm really interested. I think Sammy and Leo have the same last name. They haven't really commented on that, so I could be very wrong, but I think they're both called Valdez. They might not be. The holographic paper is just awesome. Oh yeah, and Percy goes into Jupiter's church. It wasn't a church, worshipy place, and he was like, Jupiter, the best and the greatest. He's like, what's Neptune's title? The coolest and the most awesome. That was a great comment. Obviously that goes to Apollo, my man. No, that sounded weird. Apollo. I like Apollo. But good one, Percy. Oh yeah, and apparently at that point, Nico is only 13. Because you see, because I'm considered to be quite a young reader. When I first started reading YA, I know this is technically children's, but when I first started reading my YA, I was about 10, maybe 11, and most of the other people reading YA, a lot of them were like in their 20s, the average about like 18, maybe 17, so I'm quite young compared to them, so I'm used to being a lot younger than the average protagonist, who's usually about 16. And just to have a character who is like 13 and thinking, I'm 14 in early September, and it's really weird thinking that I'm finally catching up with some of these characters. It's kind of surreal. I don't think that's the right word. It's just really odd to think that I'm like the same age as Nico, nearly older than him. I love how they all thought that Percy was like, oh no, he's just a newbie, he's not going to be too